What up, everyone? This is Eric Washington. This is memoir number 4. Memoir number 4, I believe. Man, today I just want to talk about the power structure concerning black women. I believe Malcolm X said it best when he said that black women are the most disrespected people on the planet. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe he said that, and I do believe that is the quotation. But regardless if it isn't, I think that sums it up perfectly. See, we know in society today that black women are the lowest on the totem pole. And I don't say that with any sense of pride or any sense of that's how it should be, or any sense of matter of factly, but I say that to say that being a woman, which already makes you second class globally, if not especially in the United States, and being black, which makes you the lowest class globally and especially in the United States. And I say globally because we all know, or you should know, that anti-blackness is global. Anyways, I say that to say that, one, black women, because of that fight that they have to have, are probably the most powerful individuals on the planet. And this isn't some super like Hotep or pick me or pandering type memoir. This is a memoir that I want my kids to see, my wife to see, my grandkids to see, and understand this is how I truly felt about black women. See, I was raised by a black woman, several black women. My mother handled everything on her own. She was a veteran of Desert Storm. She was a single mother. She constantly had to travel, which caused us to have a long distance relationship. And it was because of her strength and her determination that set an amazing template for me to know the value and the grit of a black woman. The other women who raised me were her sisters, my aunties, and they're amazing in their own right, for their own personal struggles, for their own desires, dreams, and values. And all of them together came to raise me. But the thing about this memoir is it's not about me, it's not about my story, it's not even necessarily about the women who raised me. It's about the black woman demographic. Excuse me. And because the black woman demographic is so low on the societal hierarchical totem pole, I think there's a lot we can learn from black women. And it's sad because black women, because they have to fight their own fight, but they also fight, honestly, for everyone else. Because I think oppression sees oppression, and oppression sees and acknowledges that when an injustice is not served, that when an injustice happens anywhere, and an injustice happens everywhere. And so black women are constantly on the fight, not only for themselves, but also for other people. However, and this is not one of those memoirs, but I will say that as of lately, you can see the date on the screen. So you know that around this time, if you recall, this is the time of celebrities being put in the spotlight, the time of Me Too, the time of Time's Up. And I want to just say, man, it's been really disappointing to see our black men not take up for our black women. And this isn't to say all black men do it. This isn't to say that all black men are trash or all black men whatever. The point I'm trying to make is that, and I will admit that I didn't really realize this until recently, honestly, because of the R. Kelly documentary, how many people publicly came out and caped for R. Kelly and were gonna die on the hill of R. Kelly, that I really saw that black men, I know the phrase is don't care about black women or don't value black women, but I don't know. I don't know what, quote unquote, the black man, I don't know what his deal is about black women. But I will say, like I said, it's been very disappointing to see. And I think we as black men just really need to step it up, man. Black women have fought too hard to raise us, to be our mothers, our sisters, our cousins, our aunties, to put food on the table, to carry us in their womb, to raise us when, and I can say this because I'm part of the generation and it's a personal story of mine, to raise us when our fathers simply weren't there. And yes, there are some examples of women who were not the best mothers. But I think that's twofold. Some of them were not the best mothers intentionally, and some of them were not the best mothers because they weren't fully equipped to be mothers. So I think it's important to differentiate that as well. But like I said, I grew up in a generation where fathers were not present. It was a rarity and a blessing, damn near a miracle to have a father, to have both parents in your life. But I say that to say is that black women have raised us, took care of us. And if you really want to go way back historically, they've raised other people's children. They've raised their captors' children. I hate to say this, they're rapists' children. They have raised damn near everyone, anyone, every single demographic there is. They've raised and groomed and protected us and sheltered us. And yet it just seems like, and I'm not even just going to say black men, I will say the rest of the world will find any and every excuse to marginalize them, denounce them, or just ignore them. We see this in the media. Black women are constantly ignored for all of the terrible things that happen to them. And I'm getting off on a tangent because I want to rewind and just really call upon the rest of the world, but really the ones that should be closest to the black woman is the black man, to really just step up for our women. And I know it's almost become this running joke in 2019, but man, we got to do better. Like, I feel like in the social media age where we all get emboldened by being behind a phone screen or a computer screen or a keyboard, we just say some of the wildest, nonsensical, ridiculous things I've ever read just to spite black women. And yeah, and I usually do mean, and I do mean black women. I mean, I know us as men, we have jokes about all women, but it seems like we really go out of our way sometimes to really go in on black women. I've seen it on social media. I've heard it in person. I've seen it in popular culture, you know? And I just think we need to do better, man. And I say this because I want my kids and grandkids and my great-grandkids to know that Eric Washington had this stance about black women, that he truly loved black women. And even though he is not the perfect example of a black man or a supportive black man or an ally for black women or what have you, that I know in my heart how I felt and what I try to live out every day. And again, this is not a video or a memoir meant to pander to black women, but man, we just need to do better. And And I know that's so cliche to say, but in this era of R. Kelly and Facebook videos and City Girls and Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, we just seem to like find any excuse to try and just marginalize black women. And a prime example of it is this, and this was going to be another memoir, but I think it fits perfectly with this, is that, man, like, and this isn't necessarily just for black women, but it happens mainly to black women, but like, your significant other should not be your shield, your peace, your sponge, whatever. They are a human. They have their own things to deal with. Now, if y'all are neck and neck and y'all are handling each other's business like tennis and y'all are back and forth, spreading positivity to each other and carrying each other's burdens, fine, this is not for you. And even if you aren't neck and neck and there's a hierarchy and the woman is lower or the man is lower in the household, what have you, and there's a blatant leadership role, and y'all are happy with that, this isn't for y'all. But guys, like, and again, this is just my personal preference. I could be completely off base, I could be wrong, and I admit that, and I take responsibility for that. I just want to say, man, I think it's about time to stop making black women our sponges and our shields, and they can be a piece. Like, there's nothing better sometimes after a long, hard day where I just want to lay my head on my lady's lap and feel her hand on my face or rubbing my head or what have you. But yo, like, that's not her job. Her job is not necessarily to be your peace. If she brings you peace, I would say that's what a solid point of a relationship is. But she's not meant to be your peace. She's not meant to be your sponge for you to bring all of your weight and baggage on her. And I say this because I want to go full circle and say, as a black woman, she has so many burdens already. She has so much baggage to carry, so much weight to carry on her shoulders. And most of these women, especially in this age where everyone has to grow up so fast, aren't even adults yet. And people, grown and young, are still like all up on their case, wanting them to be the peace and the shielding and the love. And I know we are groomed and always taught that the next best thing behind a black man is a black woman. And I think we should flip that on its head, and they should be side by side, but that's a whole nother video. And I guess the point I'm trying to say, man, is like, man, let these black women live. I guess is really just the whole point of the video, man. Like, they already go through so much, and we as black men do not make it easier. And I know that I'm not even scratching the surface of what black women just want to scream at the top of the hill, just scream out to black men and to the rest of the world about what they're going through and how they're marginalized and treated. Like, I know I'm not even scratching the surface, but as far as what I know and as far as what I want to practice, man, just like, A, the rest of the world, and 2, black men, just like, we just need to get it together. Like, we need to get it together, and we need to support our black women just as much as they support us. Black women are on the front line of every single reform and policy. Like, black women just have so much love to give, and they are always at the forefront of any and every oppressed people's battle. They are willing to soldier for the fight, and no one does the same for them. And I know I'm gonna get a whole bunch of comments and flack, sadly, from some people I call brothers, some people who don't even know me, some people who, you know, and they're gonna say, oh, I'm crazy, I'm soft, I'm pandering, I'm a simp, yada yada yada. Man, if I gotta be all that to be on the right side of history for black women, then shoot, man, I'll take all those titles. And again, I know I ain't really saying nothing. Like, I acknowledge I'm not really saying anything, but I think that's the point. This is all common sense stuff, and it seems like no one's picking it up. Man, I was supposed to record today, but that didn't work out. Because I just had to get this off my chest, man. And at the end of the day, I think that's the point. This is common sense stuff, and no one's working on it. So, my name's Eric Washington. I love black women. We should all love black women. We should support them and fight for them. And maybe one day, we should be their shield, their peace, their sponge. Either just to see how it feels, or to give them a break for once. Or, if we're not going to do that, then support them. Be by their side. Quit marginalizing them. Let them live. Signing off.